everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Core Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be going through what are, in my opinion, some of the best commanders for new players. If you're new to Magic, new to Commander, let's jump in with these commanders. So first up, we've got Hana Aia Partners. Now, this is a commander that Eddie has wrecked the playgroup with quite a few times because even though it is a very simple commander, and yes, it is one that is incredibly approachable for new players, you can also hyper-tune it, and it can be absolutely disgusting. So it's one that can stay with you over the years, and you can definitely build on. And there's always something juicy to add to this deck, essentially with every set coming out because, well, big creatures are a thing. A 2/3 Human Ranger for 4 mana in Gruul, first strike, reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X counters on another target creature control. Rex's Hana Aia's power. That creature gains haste until end of turn. This is kind of like a Xenagos-ish commander, but in a different way. This one permanently pumps creatures that you have, and it basically incentivizes you to go tall with your commander, which also helps you go tall with other creatures as well. And of course, there's counter synergies that you can work into there. There's a lot of aggression that you can take essentially as way, because you can just go, okay, you know what? I don't need a lot of haste enablers because my commander is the haste enabler. I give haste to other creatures. I get something massive down, I pump it a ton, and I swing with it right away. So being able to do that, you can do a lot of spicy things with this one. And of course, again, you can either keep building on that same creature or get another creature down. Make that one to a huge threat as well. So this one, you can win in a lot of different ways. You can definitely Voltron win with this eventually because your commander is going to be large too, because you're incentivized to make it quite large. It also protects itself in combat with that first strike. Reach can be great at helping it block too and just be a force on the battlefield. But of course, yeah, just go wide with a bunch of big creatures or creatures that you're about to make big and take advantage of those big swings. So yeah, this is one that, again, can definitely be incredibly impactful for new players right away, is very approachable, being combat focused. And yes, there's a lot of good synergies that you can learn and that you can actually build on throughout the years. Hana Aia Partners, a fantastic beginner-friendly commander. Let's keep things rolling. Literally, I mean, there's a chariot on a rainbow with some cats pulling it. Amazing. Inga and Essica, a fantastic commander for new players as well. A 4/4 human god for 4 mana in Simic. Creature control of vigilance and tap, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell. Whenever you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures was spent to cast it, draw a card. This one is, again, a commander that, yeah, can go in a lot of different directions, but also can be very user-friendly for new players because, well, you do have a couple of things built in for this commander. 2 things that are incredibly important in Magic, incredibly important in Commander are, well, you know, ramp, resource management, essentially, and then also, I mean, card draw, which is also kind of resource. It's all about resource management, really, just, you know, mana as well as the amount of cards that you have in your hand, essentially. This helps you with both. Basically, you just say, okay, you get a bunch of good creatures, you chuck them in a deck, and you say, you know what? You're going to have some pretty good synergies there because your creatures can now tap for mana, which can help you cast more creatures, and if you're using enough of them to tap for mana, then all of a sudden you can draw some cards as well. So again, this gives you resources in the 2 important aspects. It's in 2 very powerful colors in Commander, and also cats on rainbows pulling chariots. What's not to love about that? So again, a very, very, very good commander that can be incredibly powerful, yes, and again, you can build on it over time, which I think is important with some of these, you know, newer player-friendly commanders, you know, they can be built on too, but also, again, it's very approachable to start, and it solves a lot of the issues that newer players might have if they don't have the right amount of ramp or the right amount of card draw. Having your commander do both for you can be very impactful. Up next on the list, let's take a detour from the multicolored commanders with Myral Shield of Argive. Now, mono white has come a long way over the years. A long way over the years. And yes, it still, in my opinion, might be the weakest mono color, but my goodness, this is a powerful commander. One that is simple and straightforward, and one that can be a really good commander for brand new players. A 3/4 human soldier for 4 mana in white. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. So, that, first of all, is a very important thing because, well, it can really help new players out. Where it says, you know what? Okay, on your turn, you don't have to worry about your opponents. For the most part, I mean, there's obviously like edge cases that could happen, sure. But for the most part, it's like, okay, don't worry about your opponents. You just worry about yourself. Your opponents can't really stop you from doing the things that you're doing, essentially. So don't worry about them. That's just a nice little weight off your shoulders. You don't have to worry about that. Just focus on yourself. And what you're focusing on is smacking your opponents with a ton of soldiers. Because whenever this creature attacks, you make X 1/1 color soldier artifact creature tokens, or X the number of soldiers you control. So, simply, basically, Cranko but in white in a way. It's like, okay, double up your army, double up your army, double up your army, double up your army. All you need to do is focus on getting soldiers out there. Okay, cool. And also protecting this commander in combat, which again, your opponents can't, activate things or, cast spells essentially. So protect from that. But yeah, basically make it indestructible, make it unblockable, pump it to the point where it can't get taken out in combat essentially. Just ways to protect it. And all of a sudden you just have an engine for building a massive army. Throw a couple of, anthems in there as well. Maybe a couple ways to bump your team unexpectedly, a couple ways to get your team through. And all of a sudden, you've got a good recipe for winning the game. So again, this is just one where it says, you know what, I'm just going to overwhelm my opponents with the amount of value that I am getting. I am overwhelming my opponents with my army. Again, the Cranko style of play, like, okay, you're doing all these innovative things and I'm just doubling up my army every single turn. One of us is going to win, and it's probably going to be me because I've got the massive army of soldiers. Of course, some soldier tribal kind of things in there can help out too. But yeah, this is one that can definitely be very, very, very beginner friendly. And again, one that can definitely pack a punch as well. All right, buckle up for this next one because we've got Tusky Bearer of Secrets. So adorable, squirrel! Yay! 1/1 squirrel that can't be countered and is indestructible for 4 mana in green. It attacks each combat of Fable. Whenever a creature control deals combat to a player, draw a card. This is one of those types of commanders that basically helps out a new player in a lot of ways. Again, it can't be countered, and it's indestructible. It is very hard to deal with. So just knowing that you're going to have your commander out and around most of the time can be very helpful for a new player. Again, just building around that. It also kind of shows you the way in a way. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be attacking each combat of Fable. Maybe you should be doing that too with all your things, because you do get the incentive of, all right, if I hit, I am drawing cards. So being able to essentially incentivize, again, the player who is playing this, who is newer, to say, oh my goodness, look at this feeling of drawing 10 cards in a combat. Doesn't that feel great? Keep doing more and more and more. So it is one that kind of teaches a player to essentially build around that in a way, because it can be a really, really, really good feeling to have all those cards in your hand, right? You're like, I want more of those. You know what, maybe I'll lower my curve a little bit. Maybe I'll get some lower the ground creatures that are a little more evasive out there so I can swing really quickly. I can get out there and I can draw a bunch of cards. And again, by drawing those cards, it solves some of the other problems of, maybe not having enough lands and other things. I mean, you're going to get there. You're going to get there with deck building. There is definitely some good practices to have. But of course, drawing a ton of cards every single combat is a good way to solve some of the initial issues that you might have if you're not getting to certain things. So yeah. Basically, a commander that, again, is going to stay in play, is dependable, shows you the way, and again, is a massive draw engine. Again, half of the problem, in commander that you're trying to solve, again, is resource management, essentially, when it comes to cards, and then mana. And this at least gets you the cards. Green is also a great color, obviously, for the mana as well. You're going to get their new players, and this is a great commander to help you do so. I guess I should have mentioned as well that if you are interested in any of these commanders, make sure you check out any of my deck techs on them. I've done deck techs on many of them. And also, if you are interested in these cards in particular, just check out that card list link in the description below. And now with that, oh my goodness, I didn't realize that my Bretta Card Protector is nearly $3. It used to be like a 10-cent card. Regardless, very effective. Wizards reprinted, thank you. 2/3 Human Warrior for 5 mana in Selesnya. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 white Human Warrior creature token. This one, again, is simple and straightforward. It says, hey, you know what? I'm going to incentivize you to do something that is already good for you. Again, in Commander, it is a good idea to get a lot of lands in play, get a lot of resources out there so you can cast whatever you want to cast and get ahead of your opponents. This one says, hey, our game plan, get lands in play, and that basically becomes our army. We play lands, we get a bunch of humans. That also can lead you to, putting other cards in the deck potentially if you're a newer player. Like, oh, this also does like the same thing. It makes like, 1/1 saplings whenever I put a land to play. Oh, this one makes 4/4 beasts? My goodness. Also on top of that, of course, pumping your team. Again, an anthem. So kind of teaching that in there as well, where it's like, okay, Maybe other anthems are going to help too. All right, if I have, these little 1/1s that become 2/2s, well, now if I throw in this Dictative Heliod in here too, oh, now they're all 4/4s. Okay, and that is much more impactful. So being able to, again, show you, all right, you know what? Let's get a bunch of lands in play. It feels good to have a lot of resources out there to be able to cast whatever we want to cast, making a massive army, getting other landfall triggers as well, and then utilizing anthems to make that army more impactful. Again, this is a commander that solves a lot of your issues just by, again, kind of teaching you as you go, which is very important. And again, it is simple, it's straightforward, and yeah, it's teaching the valuable lesson of lands win the game in Commander. So there you go. Here comes a spicy one, though, because you know what? Yargul Multani is also a great beginner-friendly commander. It is very approachable because, well, there's nothing to it. There's literally nothing to it. It's an 18/6 Frog Spirit Elemental for 6 mana in Golgari, and that's it. It is a vanilla commander. The rest is just flavor text. So essentially, this is just, hey, you know what? You get a giant creature. That is what your commander is. There is no, okay, I need to make sure that I'm getting this kind of a trigger, or I'm taking that into account, or it does this or that, or this or that. Sometimes the best solution is the simplest one, essentially, right? So with this one, it's like, okay, you know what? I've got my giant Frog Spirit Elemental, which is definitely a thing, and all of a sudden, I am going to be utilizing it to just stomp my opponent's faces. That is the goal. That is the game. That is what I'm going to be doing. Again, Commander is a game where, yeah, you can take someone out if they've got, 40 to life. You go from 40 to 0. Or just, okay, 21 Commander damage. Oh, I'm already at 18 with my Commander. Yeah, you can just put the math together and think that, you know what? Okay, I need ways to get this through, ways to hit even harder, and I'm just going to be one-shotting opponents left and right. That's all my Commander is going to be doing, essentially. Of course, there are things that you can build onto that as well when you learn more things about, oh, these cards like, okay, greatest power among creatures you control, draw that many cards, or it drains opponents based on greatest power among creatures you control, etc., or pumps your entire team based on, one creature's power. Absolutely, there's things that you can build into that, or just go get all the lands out of your deck with a card that's like, hey, go get lands based on the power of your greatest creature. Yeah, but basically, this is one where, again, the simplest solution, sometimes the best one. This is one that's very easy to build around. It is very straightforward, and its approach is get big creature out, swing, hit players in face. Cool. Take them out in 2 shots, but most likely 1 shot, and that's all you need to do. Have fun. Now, this one's worth your attention. Oh my gosh, that price tag. Okay, I guess the price tag isn't beginner-friendly with that, with $64 for Old Nabon. I did not realize it got that expensive. What the commander does, though, is very, very, very beneficial for new players. But yeah, if you're a new player and you don't want to spend $64 on a card, but you do want to build around Old Gnawbone, maybe you just learn the value of proxying with this one. There you go. So proxy it. Okay. A 7/7 dragon with flying for 7 mana in green. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Now, this is one where, again, it does solve an issue for you in a massive way, in a game-ending way even, where, yeah, you just kind of need to, have this in play once and, hit with some creatures, and you probably win the game. This really teaches you the value of a treasure, and just having a, 7/7 flying dragon is quite nice, too. Obviously, it could be, a 3-shot KO on someone, too. You're probably not going to get to that, though, because, again, when you get an absurd amount of treasures with this, again, you just get this in play. It's any of your creatures hitting. You just go, okay, stompy deck, creatures, get through, trample, pump effects, evasive effects, whatever it's going to be. Get out there, get this out, swing, hit. All of a sudden, I've got 20 treasures. Yeah, you're going to see the value of mana pretty quickly as a new player once this hits just once. Once your team hits once with this in play, just getting all those treasures out and going, oh, I can cast whatever I want. I can cast my entire hand. I can just win the game right here and now. Yeah, you can do some pretty crazy things with this one. Again, price aside, $64 is quite steep. But again, it could be teaching new players. Again, the value of potentially proxying or trading. There you go. Things are just heating up, though, because we've got Galta, Stampede, Tyrant. Yeah, I guess green has a good amount of beginner-friendly commanders because, in some ways, green fans out there, earmuffs real quick, okay?
Someone at Wizards definitely loves green a bit too much and pushes things a bit too far with green, and green gets all the good things, basically. They can just do everything, right? Like card draw and ramp and all the things and big creatures. But
the commanders that they build around them are usually pretty straightforward. and they are very powerful and can win in multiple ways, like Galta Stampede Tyrant, a 12/12 Elder Dinosaur Trample for, yes, 8 mana, so it does cost you a good amount, but again, you are in green, you've got plenty of effective ways to ramp, and that does teach you, okay, if I want to get my commander out, I need a good amount of ramp to be able to do so, right? And when you do, though, you don't even have to do anything with your commander, and it already makes a massive impact, because when it enters the battlefield, you put any number of creature cards from your hand right on the battlefield, so just dump all those big things. So you literally can just build around this commander and go, okay, ramp, so I can play my commander in giant creatures. And then all of a sudden, when you play this, you're just kind of ending the game in a way. We're like, okay, dump my hand on the board. I've got this massive board state, and oh my goodness, good luck opponents. You're all gone. Absolutely all gone. And if you're not gone, again, I've got a 12/12 trampling commander that's going to take you out quite quickly as well. Again, a 2-shot KO. Maybe a 1-shot KO with Fire Shrieker if you got that. But yeah, one that essentially you definitely can kind of build on throughout the years as well. Again, you've got this commander. You can refine the strategy a bit. Maybe you've got some ways to bounce back to your hand to replay it, to draw some cards, to do all these other things. But of course, also, just with every set, you're like, oh, another giant threat? Cool, throw that in there. Next set, oh, another giant threat? Throw that in there. Awesome, do some really spicy things with it. So yeah, again, green seems like a good home for newer players with certain things because typically they are pretty combat-focused, and that's a good way to introduce players to the game. When it comes to, okay, here's things that are important, green's already good at those things. It's usually good at card draw, and it's also, of course, very good at ramp, obviously, but also good with just big creatures, swingy, fun times. Yeah, Galta is good for that. Finally, though, let's get weird with this last one because, yeah, if you're a newer player, you might be adventurous to be like, okay, yeah, there's 5 colors of Magic, but wait, what's this non-color? Ooh, what's that weird... I don't even know, like, other dimensional monster thing. Yeah, Eldrazi? Yeah, you're going to learn pretty quickly. Those are incredibly powerful and disgusting in Commander and in any format. Basically, Ulamog the Defiler can be a very good beginner-friendly commander. I'd say maybe it's a step up from some of the other ones I've talked about, but still, when it comes to colorless commanders, one that kind of, again, solves the game for you is probably a pretty good way to go about it. A 7/7 Eldrazi for 10 mana. When you cast a spell, target opponent exiles half their library, rounded up. Ouch! Ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. Double ouch! Ulamog the Defiler enters the battlefield with a number of counters on it, equal to greatest mana value among cards in exile. It's got Annihilator X for the number of counters on it. I mean, this is one of those commanders that, again, you can literally just go, okay, I cast it. If you don't stop it, I win the game, basically. So this, again, kind of solves the problem for you where, all right, the way I'm building around this is I just ramp a ton so I can get this out. You can just grab a ton of mana rocks and just go chuck them into the deck. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. All right, I did that. All right, cool. All right, so I did that. Maybe some haste enablers if you're feeling spicy. And all of a sudden, you're just like, okay, I cast Ulamog pretty early. It comes down. I swing with it. And, it probably got, about, I don't know, like six counters on it maybe from that exiling half a library. Cool. All right, Annihilator 6, sacrifice 6 permanents. See if you can do that a couple of times. Probably not. Of course, you've got other ways to pump it as well. Then it's just like 1-shot KO in the way that it's not even taking someone out on hit because they might be able to still block it, but it's taking out all of their resources so they're decimated. You have to swing once at someone and they're gone. Then you just swing at the next player and then they're gone. You swing at the next player and they're gone. Again, when it comes to colorless commanders, obviously there's some more complex ones, but this is just quite straightforward where it's like, okay, play it. It's probably going to be quite large, and its Annihilator trigger is going to be massive, so you play it, you swing with it, player loses. Next player, swing with it, loses. It's just a very simple, straightforward approach for a colorless commander. And again, Eldrazi are fun. Players like Eldrazi. New players are excited about Eldrazi. So yeah, if you're looking to get into colorless as a newer player that's looking to just decimate your opponent's boards, it's a really good way to go about with Ulamog the Defiler. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on this one. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.